This is it's an informal session, so it's not a workshop of some sort, but it's really an opportunity to learn from one another, to share challenges, experiences as filmmakers, but also for you to get more information on what the NFVF does and also the opportunities of funding for writers that exist within the NFVF, but also just opportunities for some of you as well, should you wish to pursue education. It's an opportunity for you to see how the NFVF can assist you should you wish to further your career and learning. What I'd just like to share with you today is firstly my key role within the NFVF. I manage our training initiatives, so that means ensuring that all our training strategies are implemented. So that's what we basically do within the department. I'd like to just go through basically who the NFVF is, what our mandate is, and also just to share with you what the organization is made up of. The National Film and Video Foundation, we're a statutory body. We're a statutory body that's mandated by an Act of Parliament to spearhead the equitable growth and development of the South African Film and Video Foundation. The organization is divided into just a few departments. We have the funding department, which comprises of development and funding. That's where training sits as well. Development, we assist writers to write their scripts. We apportion some funds, 250,000 rands to writers, and we assign trained script editors who work with the writers in order to develop their stories. We also have production funding, which is really for those scripts that are ready for production. We can provide up to about R1 million to producers. Part of the funding department is to also train the industry. When we do that by providing bursaries, we have national and international bursaries, we have scholarships, we have our Sediba program, which is the scriptwriting program, and also the producers program. And also part of the funding department, we have the distribution leg of the department, which assists filmmakers in distributing their films locally and internationally. It also assists filmmakers to partner with sales agents all around the world, so that you are able to sell your films and to make money out of your films. We also then have the policy and research department, and that department constantly ensures that industry policies are developed and that industry benefits from such policies. They also give strategic direction to the organization as they always conduct research and see what is happening in the industry. I do hope that from this session I will also take that to the departments, our policy and research department, and see how they can research and speak to filmmakers on the ground in a way of knowing and providing information to the NFF in terms of what the industry really wants, and we hope that would then fill our or either change or support our strategic direction. We then also have the marketing department. That department assists filmmakers in showcasing their work. Should you be accepted at a film festival, be it in South Africa or internationally, our marketing department will take those filmmakers to those film festivals, and that is all funded by the NFVF. Our marketing department also assists in taking NFVF programs to the public. And lastly, we have the finance department, and those just ensure that we account for all the spending that we do. So I just hope that this gives you just a brief overview of the different departments that exist within the organization. Today I'll just speak about our Spark our training programs, and in an effort to see how you can benefit from those. Our Sediba training and development program, it comprises of our Spark program, which is really our introductory scriptwriting training program. We are now in the process of going through an accreditation process with MedSector. We have started the process so that people that go through the scriptwriting program are able to get recognized for their learning in the form of certificates. We also train script editors of the program. We train producers, and that's on our international financing program for producers. This is where we help producers with the skill of raising funds locally again and internationally. The program really focuses on how you work with sales agents, distributors, again, I stress locally and internationally. And also it focuses on how you can build sustainable production companies. That program is 8 months long and also runs on an annual basis. We also now in talks of developing a directors program where directors can be taken to the next step of learning. So once that program is ready, again, we will engage with industry and to get feedback, and also to engage with industry on how they can be part of the program.
What one of the major problems is, and what I'm hoping the NFVF can get involved in, is actually punting the films. Punting the films that are actually getting made, because unfortunately what I've found is as soon as the films reach cinema, they barely stay on for 2 weeks. And the biggest problem with that is that unfortunately South Africans have this mentality that South African films, excuse my language, are crap, which they're not. I mean, one of the films I worked on has now sold in 7 states in America. And unfortunately it didn't do that well here. And that I find is a big problem. And I think along with all the training that you guys are offering, which I think is wonderful, I think a huge thing we need to do is expose to our country what is actually going on as far as filmmaking goes. And I think also for these training and these opportunities, as I said to you, look, like, I'm not black, I don't come from, I was educated, I don't come from the townships, this or that, but we're all in the same position. We all can't get funding for money. I don't have a rich daddy. I mean, we all kind of like in the same boat wanting to make this happen. But I think it's not going to be able to grow unless we get people out there in South Africa, the general public, aware of what is going on and the beautiful, amazing things that these passionate people are creating. I think that's very important too.
Previous session, we had an international representative of filmmakers telling us what the problems we have in this country, ranging from the fact that we seek funding from international funders who will expect us to tell stories from their point of view, which has nothing to do with who we are. And also the fact that if I'm a South African filmmaker and I want to tell my story my own way, when I receive funding from an international filmmaker, I'm expected to alter my story to represent their interests, because at the end of the day, that's where the money comes from. And it boils down to economics at the end of the day. So it is quite important for the NFVF to step up and protect South African filmmakers. And also, just one last point, if you want to be part of the Spark program, do you need qualifications, or do you need to have written something prior? And just the basic requirements.
I'll say a couple of things to you which hopefully will encompass everything that has been raised in terms of production and development and training and all of that. First thing that I want to say is when the NFVF engages with a person, it's a long-term investment that we make. We don't want to just deal with you on the one project and say bye-bye, go. Or we bring you to Spark and say bye-bye, walk. We look at it as a very long-term thing. If we start with the training, we have a vision that lies ahead. We train you. You do development funding, you get production funding, you get producer training so that you understand the business of film. It's a long road that you have to take, and you just need to be patient and bear with us, and you will bear fruits from it. Long term, it's not something that's just going to be a 6-month quick fix. We want to be in this for the long run so that we grow our industry and we ensure that every young person coming out of the industry, sorry to the other lady, young or old, anybody coming out of the industry and interacting with us has a chance. Because that's what we need, is a fighting chance of being sustainable. That's the first thing I want to say. The other thing is that a lot of us tend to view the NFVF as purely a funding agency. We're not, we're a resource. We are there for information. We only have so much funding. I know everyone says we say this year after year, but the fact is year after year, it hasn't changed. We have limited funding, and so what we do to try and counter that lack of funding is offer information, offer knowledge. We've been through all the processes. I started with Sediba Spark. I went through masters, went through the producer program. I've gone through, which is why I know that there is an investment on the part of the NFVF. We're a resource. If you have questions, there was a lady talking about films that are made without NFVF assistance. Obviously, because we don't have funds, we can't put into everything. We have a great communications department here that sends out a newsletter every single week, database of literally everybody in the industry. And if you send them a news, what you call it, a press release, or just an email telling them about what you're doing, they will publicize it. They will tell everyone in the country what is going on, because we can't cover everything. We can't pay for everything, but we will help you. If you have questions regarding contracts and you need to be protected against your story, you're going into a co-production with somebody and they're making demands that you're not comfortable with, you are welcome to talk to us and say, look here, this is the person I'm working with. I'm not sure about their demands. What do I do? And we are there to advise as well. So those are the two major things that I need to say, and I hope it answers most of the questions that have come up.
I wanted to say that it was so interesting to hear how our South Africans have been making films and then being disappointed about audience attendance. And I was hoping that perhaps something can be done through all the agencies to increase audience attendance and to look at the reasons why. And I think actually for South Africa, one of the reasons why is because we have such a diverse culture. But audience attendance is important to box office, and it's important to the result of the films and continuance of films.
There are very definite plans about audience development initiatives that we're engaging with. I think our CEO mentioned that there are two very firm initiatives that will be going into the pipelines before the end of the year. Because we have noticed that through distribution engagement, we have identified exhibition as a major problem, a major obstacle to getting our films seen by the people that we make the films for, which is our local market. So NFVF is very definitely working on that. We are partnering, we are forming partnerships with other government agencies so that we can increase the pool of money and do a widespread national rollout of increased screens so that there's more exhibition space for all of our films.
Today's session was really to share the work that the NFVF does when it comes to script writing, because that is the basis of filmmaking. You cannot have a film without a script, without a competent script, without a script that is engaging, that can attract audiences to come and watch your film. So the session really today was to focus on that, but also to just
highlight what industry needs, to also hear from the industry what they want to the NFVF to focus on moving forward. So I'm quite excited that we've learned what the industry wants today. We can take that back to the office and start to see where we can work more efficiently to actually serve the industry at best.